welcome back. Good Times, The West Wing, Touched by an Angel, Roots. You've no doubt seen our next guest grace the small screen and the silver screen. We are so excited to welcome actor and playwright John Amos to the show. Now, you're in town for a one-man show,
Yes.
Halley's Comet. What inspired the story?
Some years ago, actually the last time the comet came through our solar system, I was at my residence in New Jersey, and while we don't have any mountains, we've got a few fairly high prominences, so I went up to the Delaware Water Gap in hopes that I would be able to see the comet like so many others. Unfortunately, there was a heavy cloud cover. I was unable to see the comet, but it was even more fortuitous for me because there was an elderly gentleman who had to be close to 95 or maybe even 100. And he was there with several generations of his progeny, his son who was in his 60s, his grandson on down to a little tyke. And he was explaining to them that he had been fortunate enough to see the comet on its last circuit through our solar system. And on the premise of that, I went home and I began to write a fictitious character who had had the same experience, and it evolved into the one-man show, Halley's Comet. And after 21 some odd years of touring the world with it, I can say I think it might work.
I think so. I think it's a success, no doubt. Where did you come up with the characters? Did you draw from people that you know?
From life. Every character in the play is named is either named after a relative or someone that I've met, i.e., when this elderly gentleman evolves back into his 18-year-old son during the Second World War, his sergeant is Sergeant Catania, who was my sergeant when I was a member of the New Jersey State National Guard, and so forth and so on. The relatives that he makes reference to are relatives that I had in real life, aunties and uncles, etc.
Now, you've been in so many projects, over 100 projects, TV and film. What are some of your favorite experiences?
The truth of it is, my favorite experiences are those that have probably not been seen by too much of the public because I prefer live performances. I love the stage. To me, that's, without sounding like an elitist, that's truly an actor's medium. And I've been very, very fortunate in having done some of the works of the more outstanding playwrights of our generation, i.e. August Wilson, a couple of his plays. I've done Broadway, but Broadway is not the prerequisite to being a recognized actor or to really putting your mark on something that it used to be. There are a great many regional theaters and university theaters that offer an actor a chance to ply his craft at a good level.
Now, I read a quote from you. It said, there are 3 stages in any actor's career.
Actually, 4.
4? Okay, so tell me the 4.
Okay. There's who is John Amos? Get me John Amos. Get me a young John Amos. And then finally, once again, who is John Amos? So I said, well, before they get to that 4th stage, I better create something for myself that gives me a little longevity. And I've been touring Halley's around the world for the last close to 22 years now. And this stop in Missouri is not my first time here. I've been here in Missouri. I performed at other universities. And at one point in my life, in another life, I had 2 contracts with the Kansas City Chiefs, but that didn't work out. So,
interesting.
Yeah, you might think that now in retrospect. Wasn't that interesting to the Chiefs at the time?
Well, you're constantly evolving. That's what I think is so interesting, that you've had so much success. And again, like you said, it's like stage, endless opportunities.
Well, the thing is, you get immediate feedback from the audience, as opposed to television, where it can take forever and a day to get through a couple of pages of dialogue. And movies, forget it. I mean, I literally have gone to work clean shaven and left the job, that day with a beard, waiting for my scenes to be told. So, of all the mediums, I prefer live theater. It's a wonderful exchange.
And you have a student workshop as well, though, where you're going to try to impart some wisdom.
Absolutely. I try and remove any of the illusions that these youngsters have about the business being about autographs and sunglasses and limos, you know. There's a lot more to it than that, kids.
A lot more.
Trust me.
All right, well, you can see Halley's Comet starring John Amos tomorrow night at 7:30 at Hendricks Hall in Warrensburg. We have details at KCLive.tv. Thank you so much, John, for joining us.
Thank you. I hope you can make it, you and the entire crew.
I would love to come. I look forward to it.
Good deal.
Well, let's